Hello everyone, we're group 4, and the lesson that we're in charge of was Engage New York grade 2, module 1, topic A, lesson 2. My name is Brenda Bryant, and in this lesson, students will practice representing two-digit numbers as quick ones and quick tens and ones using longs and ones. Students will practice expanded form using the rec and rec technique and using the high zero cards like this, like 10s, 20s, or 30s. And students will identify place values. Also, students with no addition fluency will learn how to add numbers within tens, and we'll learn how to break numbers, small numbers, and to gain foundational skills for fluency with sums and differences to 20. We will show you some techniques to add additional fluency. For example, the first one will be the value of tens and ones. Let's say the teacher says to the students, represent number 12. The students will represent it with 2 longs and 2 ones. The teacher says, represent number 15 with using longs and ones. So the student will represent 2 longs and 5 ones. So that's the strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 will be the happy counting. With this one, happy counting will use the rec and rec technique, which let's say the teacher says represent number 12. I'll move 10, a row of 10 to the left, and then let's say the teacher said 12, so 10 and a 2. So the students will be able to visualize the numbers right here. And let's say the teacher says to the student, represent number 20. So the student will move 2 rows of 10 to the left. Using the hide zero cards, the teacher will show the card. I have the cards here, 10, a 20, and a 30. We'll start with 10. Let's say that the teacher will do this. We'll hide the 0 and we'll ask the student to say the number. So the student will have to say 1, the 11. So 10 and 1 is 11. 10 and 3 will be 13. So we're hiding the 0. Okay, that's the technique. So the student will be able to practice the expanded form because when the teacher shows the card, for example, here, the student's response will be 30 tens, 3 tens, 4 ones. If the teacher says 26, the student will say 2 tens and 6. So that's how the student will explain the form. Another technique will be the make the next 10. For example, the teacher says the number 8. The student have to say what number is needed to make the next 10. Let's say I said 8. The student will say 2, which makes 10. If the teacher says 25, the student will have to say 5, which makes 30. The next strategy will be the say 10 way. For example, the teacher says 35. The student will have to say 3 tens, 5 ones. Let's say the teacher says 28. The student will have to say 2 tens, 8 ones. And then also we have the target practice technique, in which the student with limited skills will break apart numbers, like within number 10, for example, number 9. And in this one, students could use dice. And then let's say the first student A, throws the dice and gets a 5. So the target will be to get a number 4 here to make 9. So it will be like that. So let's say the number inside is 8 and the student A got a 2. So the second student will try to get a 6. So this is a technique that will help students that have limited addition fluency to get the stronger skills on addition. This will be all the techniques that we have seen in this lesson. Next, Brenda Ponce will be talking about the topics or ideas that are relevant to the lesson and activity.
Okay, so overall, we thought that the lesson was okay. We feel like it didn't 100% match the part of the Common Core 2.08.1, which is that we needed to have subtraction as well in order to complete the whole Common Core. It was understandable to read all the worksheets given to us in order for us to give to the children, the students. Everything was within 100, so it matched the Common Core for second grade. The lessons gave good examples of how the lesson is supposed to go. For example, the back and forth communication between the teacher and the students on how, for example, in the first activity, which was, let's say 10, counting with the high zeros, we could see how the teacher is showing them how you pull apart the cards to show the expanded form of the number. And yeah, we thought it was pretty good, but I think it just needed like minor fixes to fit the whole Common Core. And on to Celine.
So like Brenda said, it does match the Common Core standards listed fairly well, like to some extent. The first Common Core was 2.08.1, which is use addition and subtraction within 100 to solve 1- and 2-step word problems involving situations of adding to, taking from, putting together, taking apart, and comparing with unknowns and oppositions, etc., by using drawings and equations with a symbol and the unknown number to represent the problem. This lesson, like I said, matches the standard to some extent because it does create fluency in creating tens and adding to the next multiple of tens through practice. And it also uses like different strategies to do that. So drawings, equations, the hide zero cards, the Rekenrick, and using other symbols to do that. But it also does not include any word problems like it says in the standard. So that would probably have to be added. And then the second Common Core standard, which is 2.08.2, is fluently add and subtract within 20 using mental strategies. By the end of grade 2, know from memory all sums of 2 one-digit numbers. This lesson matches this standard pretty well as well, just because it's a whole part of it. The whole lesson is created to develop fluency and adding tens and making the next 10 using mental strategies. Like first Brenda said, when using the Rekenrick, the partner activities, students are making sure that they see the beads and then figuring out the next number that they need to make the next 10 mentally. But there was no subtraction within 20 in this lesson, so that also did not hit that part of the Common Core standard that it was supposed to. And then for the standard for mathematical practice, it focuses on standard 5, which is using appropriate tools strategically. Mathematically proficient students consider the available tools when solving a mathematical problem. So tools like modeling, a calculator, just drawings and stuff like that. This lesson really matches the standard well because students are using different models to represent tens and ones and 2-digit numbers and equations. And then models including like the Say 10 Way, the Hide Zero cards, 100 Bead Kenrick, the target practice, and then the base 10 pieces. It also helps students just become proficient in like using what tools they feel they need to solve the problems in a way that they feel like they are comfortable in. For our critiques, we would say definitely adding a subtraction day, like doing the same activities but using subtraction to find tens and multiples of tens, because that way it reaches the whole Common Core standard that they were trying to reach. And then also that it should go deeper in explaining why it's important to find the next 10 and how that can help in creating multiples of 10 and creating fluency in adding in the future. So that way, all the Common Core standards will be able to match towards what the lesson is trying to teach.
Thank you.
Thank you.